Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Gary. It was the weekend, and Heather, my wife, was off at a family gathering. I was supposed to join her, but honestly, I just wasn't up for it. The past week at work had drained me, and all I wanted was some time alone to breathe. I figured staying home, catching up on a few personal things, and recharging was the better option. That Saturday afternoon, I lay on our bed in the shared bedroom with my laptop propped open. Sifting through the emails that had piled up, while responding to one, I realized I needed a pen. The one I had dried out, completely useless. I could have walked over to the desk for another, but the thought of moving felt like more effort than I want to give. Instead, I glanced around, hoping to spot a spare nearby. The first place I checked was the drawer on my side of the bed. Empty, just old receipts and scraps of paper. With no luck there, I figured Heather's side might have something. Her drawer was always neatly organized, filled with her personal odds and ends. I'd never really bothered with it before, but that day, my small problem made me desperate enough to slide it open. That's when I found it. Buried under a stack of papers was a box of condoms, tucked away as if hidden. I froze, staring at it. Heather and I hadn't used protection, not once, in our 8 years of marriage. It had never been necessary, never even a topic of discussion. My hands shook as I checked the box. It was slightly open, and one condom was missing. My mind raced. Why would she even have these? Especially now, when we hadn't been intimate for a while. Our relationship had been distant, physically and emotionally, and I hadn't been able to put my finger on why. Suddenly, the pieces didn't fit. Something felt wrong. The first thought that hit me was brutal. She was cheating. I didn't want to believe it, but that box was staring back at me like undeniable proof. Sitting at the edge of the bed, I just kept asking myself, was she seeing someone else? The worst part was, I didn't know what to do with what I'd found. How could I prove anything? Confronting her without evidence wasn't an option. I'd made that mistake before when I wrongly suspected her of something years back. I wasn't going down that road again. So I decided to stay quiet for now. That night, I kept replaying scenarios in my mind. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe it was all a misunderstanding. But the longer I thought about it, the more certain I felt something wasn't right. I needed the truth. The first thing I did was snap a photo of the box. Then, carefully, I placed it back exactly as I'd found it. Heather couldn't suspect I'd seen it. The next day, I drove to Walmart. I bought a few discreet hidden cameras and a GPS tracker for her car. If she was sneaking around, I needed proof, cold, undeniable proof. When I got home, I wasted no time. I installed the cameras in places I knew Heather spent time and hid them so well she'd never notice. The plan was simple. Let her walk into the trap on her own. Once that was done, I prepared to slip the GPS device into her car. That evening, Heather came home as if everything was normal. I played it cool, hiding every bit of suspicion. She talked about her family gathering, the gossip, the small talk, and for a moment, I wondered if I was being paranoid. She didn't sound like someone hiding a secret. But then again, I couldn't ignore what I'd seen. At dinner, I nodded along, pretending to listen while secretly analyzing every word and gesture. She seemed calm, almost too calm. That night in bed, though, my thoughts wouldn't stop racing. Over the next month, I checked the cameras daily and tracked her car religiously. Nothing. She went to work, the grocery store, out with friends. Exactly as she always said. The camera footage showed her cooking, reading, doing normal things. Not a single hint of betrayal. It started messing with my head. Was I losing it? Maybe stress and distance had clouded my judgment. Still, every time I thought about that box in her drawer, doubt came flooding back. By the second month, I began questioning if I'd made a huge mistake. Each check reaffirmed her innocence. By the third month, I'd grown tired of it all. I stopped obsessively reviewing footage. Part of me wanted to believe she wasn't cheating, that maybe I'd let my imagination spin out of control. Life slowly felt normal again. But in the 5th month, everything changed. One afternoon, I felt a sudden urge to check the box again. My stomach dropped, The count was off. Another condom missing. My suspicions reignited instantly. I rushed to the footage, combing through hours until finally I saw it. Heather, in broad daylight, leading a man into our bedroom. My bedroom. The betrayal played out on screen in the very place we'd shared our most intimate moments. The footage left nothing to doubt. It wasn't a slip-up. It was deliberate. The sight was like a punch to the gut. Each second made me sick, but I forced myself to watch. I needed to be sure. When Heather came home that evening, I was waiting, calm on the outside, burning on the inside. "Heather," I said, "come here. I want you to see something." She looked uneasy but stepped closer. When the footage started rolling, her face drained. Her eyes widened. She froze. Then came the excuses. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered, over and over, her voice breaking. But I was done. "No, Heather, it's exactly what it looks like. I'm finished." She fell apart instantly. Tears, pleading, begging me to understand. "Please, Gary. It was a mistake, just one time. Please don't do this." But I'd heard it all before. "No, this wasn't just a mistake. I found that box 5 months ago. I set up cameras. I tracked your car. I know exactly what you've been doing." The look on her face was pure shock. She couldn't even form words. The tears kept coming, now mixed with fear. "You've got one choice," I told her coldly. "Pack your things and leave. Or I share this video with everyone." That broke her. Shaking, sobbing, she tried again. "Please, Gary, don't. It was just once, I swear." But it didn't matter anymore. This wasn't a slip. It was a choice she had made. Without a word, Heather began packing. She knew it was over. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Filing for divorce felt both surreal and necessary. It wasn't the life I imagined, but it was the only path forward. By the end of the week, the agreement was on my desk. Heather had moved out to stay with a friend, someone who probably didn't know the whole truth. Her friend even reached out to me, hoping to mediate. I asked her one question. "Did Heather tell you everything?" She admitted Heather had confessed to cheating, but likely left out the full story. The cameras, the tracker, the lies. I didn't bother filling in the blanks. It wasn't my responsibility anymore. The divorce wrapped up quickly. Heather didn't fight me on anything. I kept the house. We split the accounts fairly. She took what she could and walked away. And though I had every right to, I never shared the footage. I gave her that one shred of dignity. As I sat alone in the house we once shared, I realized something. I was free. Heather was, too, in her own way. But freedom came at the cost of everything we'd built together. The marriage was gone. It hurt. But I knew without a doubt I'd made the right choice.